Hello, everyone, and welcome to Metro TV. I'm your host, Andy Hoig, publisher and CEO of Metro Magazine. Today, we have a great show, so don't go away. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone. I'm here with Jeff DeWispler. He is the president and CEO of Omaha Home for Boys. Jeff, thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So not only, Omaha Home for Boys is celebrating a huge milestone, 100 years. You're our cover story for our August-September issue, that issue that's literally hitting the streets right now. So many important things that the organization has done over the years, but let's just start off. Who does the Omaha Home for Boys serve?
Absolutely. We, as an agency, we have a tagline that is transform a life, strengthen a community. And in 2019, we served about 1,300 young adults and their families. We do that basically through 6 programs, very similar programs, but they run a continuum for us. We start with a younger age, the high school age young men in our in our residential program. And they live with us for 6 to 8 months. And basically, we show them what a family structure would look like. They live day to day with us. They go to school in our education department. And they just kind of learn what daily life should look like. And many of them have not seen that exemplified in their homes.
Yeah.
We have a second program that is called the Crisis Stabilization Program. Very similar. We bring kids in just like we do in residential, but they only stay with us for 45 days, and then we work with their family in the home for up to 6 months. So we believe that's a newer program, and we believe that's going to change kind of the dynamic of helping the whole family improve, not just the individual.
Yeah.
Then the second program is kind of our little bit older age. We go into the transitional living, Jacob's Place program, and that is for 17 to 20-year-olds coming out of foster care. And then our third kind of component slides into the community, where we work with individuals in the community. Same situation. Specialists works with them almost as a pseudo parent, and they live in the community, but we work with them and try to take care of either jobs. They learn how to ride the bus. We get them a driver's license if that's what they need. And then we have a housing component to that. That's called the supportive housing program, and it's unique to. We believe to us, not many places bring in the whole family. We're willing to bring in young kids, spouse, significant other. They all live together in an apartment. They have to follow a certain process and structure, but they are there together. And we believe, probably not just in our community, but the whole country, what we've done is we've taken apart the family to fix it, and we're trying to do it all in one unit. New program. So we're excited about that. They can stay with us for up to 2 years in that program, and they have subsidized rent, and then that will progress up every 6 months until that year period. And then hopefully they're ready for their own home community. So we're excited about that. And go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to say, well, no, you go ahead. Yeah, keep.
Well, the last little piece here is then we have mental health. We all know mental health is probably our largest issue in our community right now.
Sure.
So we created it's called clinical programming, and we provide that across all of the gamut of all of our programs. And just mental health, drug treatment, all of those things that a lot of people are kind of turning away from because it is expensive. It's hard sometimes to work with billing, with insurance, Medicaid, all those things, but we decided to lean into that. So we created that program about a year ago. So that's kind of that's our whole organization in a very, very small snippet, but I just tried to give you kind of an overview.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like the last piece, the mental health, that is like so important. That is
absolutely
so important. And I know for everything the Omaha Home for Boys has done over, again, 100 years, celebrating just the contribution that you've made in the community. I'm going to diverse from it because you guys just did a branding change over the last year, correct?
Yes.
And with that branding change, has anything else have the programs that you just talked about, has that expanded or is it being more, in the community? Because again, You've done so much. And I love the new branding. So, I mean, I just wanted to have a question about the branding change.
Absolutely. Well, to be honest with you, the whole process is kind of an evolution. We for 100 years were very campus based. We served those that came to us. They lived with us, and
Yeah.
again, wonderful work. Very, very proud of that work. What I wanted to do as taking over as the new leader during kind of this transition period,
Yeah.
when we hit our 100, we wanted to, I have a saying that history doesn't define you, it informs you. And so we are using that we know what has happened, and now we know what needs to happen. So for the next 100 years, we want to be community-based, vibrant, just like our logo shows.
Yeah.
To be different than we were before, not because it was bad, but because it's time.
Yeah. And the thing is, 100 years ago, or over the past 100 years, the needs of what the people you serve have changed. I mean, there may be some fundamentals that are the same, but we're an evolution process of everything continues to change. So,
absolutely.
you know, and what are the next 100 years ahead of you? They're not going to be like the past 100 years. So,
yes,
which again is reason for celebration as you guys celebrate this milestone for sure.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we decided probably a couple of years ago, is we were going to use this opportunity to not just celebrate the past, but celebrate what we can be.
Yeah.
And that's the exciting part, because we started as an orphanage 100 years ago, and there's no such thing as even orphans anymore, right? That's not even a thing. So we've evolved, but I will say the one thread that I think runs through all programming, all the years, everything, it's a structural crack in the fabric of, if you will, parent or a family, the environment kids live in. And so it has been that from the 20s up till today. And we are hopefully trying to close that gap. That's where we sit in there and we take that opportunity, because we have generational things going on. People aren't choosing to do these things. They're not choosing to not have their kids have food. It's a generational, and it's learned, and we have to try to help break that cycle as best we can.
Yeah. Well, let's talk just a little bit about COVID-19, because that is a very, that's what's happening now. I mean, everybody is being impacted, all nonprofits. So how has COVID-19 impacted the Omaha Home for Boys?
Well, couple sides. I'll hit on the operational side and then some financial pieces.
Sure.
From the operational side, we made a decision probably, it's hard to believe, March 16th or somewhere in there, to take, the CDC recommendations. And we took all of our administrative staff. We have fundraising staff. We have myself. We have just different individuals that work in the office, paperwork, reports. And we decided to pull all those individuals out. We had already had a work from home program that you could do a couple times a month. We were equipped for it, which I feel is a big blessing now. Many companies were not ready for that. So we just went into work from home, and we have been doing that for the last 5.5 months or whatever that is now. So we have about 60% of our individuals have to be on campus. They work directly with the kids, and they live with us. So we can't just kind of Zoom them. We Zoom when we can with their families, but
sure,
we can't go to Zoom. We have to be with them. Because obviously we're providing supervision and a lot of teaching and that kind of stuff. So about 60 to 70 of our staff are on campus working. The other 35 to 40 are off campus doing Zoom and doing a lot of what we're doing right here. So far, so good. It's been very good. We've had a couple scares, one minor case that came up, but they were already off campus. So we feel very blessed to have the individuals in and out of our campus that we've had, and that we've not had any incidents at this time.
Yeah.
From an operational side, that's how we operated.
Sure. And then, talking about the fundraising side, as you just mentioned, one of the things, you're having this big 100th anniversary celebration gala in October. And that's moved to next fall, which is appropriate. But, like all nonprofits, the need doesn't stop. So how can people support you? How can people support you right now?
Absolutely. And I will say that nobody's going to forget our anniversary probably because I hate to be tied to this, but our 100 year is a doozy, as they say. But so We have a couple opportunities. We'll have multiple opportunities. The easiest way, obviously, everybody has a website. Ours is ohb.org. As
Yeah.
part of our new logo, we've just gone to shorten the Omaha Home for Boys to OHB to make it simple. So you can join us on ohb.org. You can donate online. I'd ask you to read more about, I gave you a general synopsis of what we do,
Yeah.
but there's so much depth in there. I'd
Yeah.
ask you to just look at that if anybody hasn't seen that. So website, we have a lot of events. We have golf. We have different things. We have use sponsors. So if you look on there or hear of us doing those things, we'd love you to sponsor and attend.
Yeah.
You know, people attending is a big deal for us, and it's as much for us about sharing our story as it is. We call it friend raising as much as fundraising. So
Yeah. For sure.
sometimes you have to have friends in the community, and we believe we wouldn't be 100 years old without friends. So,
Yeah.
and then we have a guild that has just started up of people that just come together and they volunteer and help with events or whatever we might need. Probably the other thing that stepped out a little different is our kids need a lot of hygiene items, a lot of school supplies. So
Okay.
if an individual wanted to do a drive at their business, at their church, even personally as a family, we would love to have that happen because we are constantly stocking deodorants and clothes and
Yeah.
just toilet paper, all those things that we take for granted.
Yep.
Somebody has to provide it for these young folks.
Yeah.
And then the last piece, and I think it's the big one, is that you go on to social media. Just follow us on social media, and
Yeah.
you'll see all the stuff going on. And we have a wonderful marketing person that just puts our stuff out there, and she does a great job. So you follow us there, you're going to know everything that's happening as
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah. And again, things are constantly changing in our community, and the needs, we just you're pivoting. So yeah, social media, encourage people to follow Omaha Home for Boys on social media. And again, this next fall, next September, we will make sure we're getting the word out, well ahead of time on what that huge celebration is going to be about.
Yes, and I will. Yeah, if I can add something, one of the things, it is September 9th of 2021.
Okay.
We're very excited about our speaker. We've been trying to work with Michael Orr from The Blind Side for years.
Okay.
So he'll be speaking. He's an NFL veteran. He has a book. He grew up in this exact situation and ran away from home and was put in out of home. I mean, it's the story of our kids. And then he's made success. And obviously many of us have seen the movie The Blind Side. So we're excited to have him come speak, and he's agreed to move him from this year to next year. So we're very blessed for that as well.
Yeah. I've been to many of your galas. They're always amazing. You have amazing speakers, but yes, I will definitely connect with you and get the word out as the date gets closer.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And thank you just for the important work that you do, that the organization does. It's not easy. And right now I know it's especially not easy when you have to think outside of the box and continue to support those in needs, because the need does not stop. It just, COVID-19 doesn't stop anything.
No,
and maybe how we do things.
Full speed ahead. And I will say, one, I want to thank you for the opportunity for sharing our story, but I'd like to also publicly just thank our staff. I get to be the face, I get to be on these calls and things, and I go to meetings and raise money and brag about them. But I will say that this group has impressed me. They went to work every day. We've given them as many incentives as we can, but basically they're doing their job when the whole world is kind of freaking out. They still have to be there focused on these kids because the kids need them really, really bad right now. So
yeah, absolutely.
I just want to make sure that was publicly known.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff. Again, ohb.org to learn so much more than what we've talked about here today. But I appreciate the conversation and look forward to supporting you and the big event next September. So
absolutely.
Thanks again, Jeff. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, welcome everybody. I am here with Terry Gatch Mills. She is a Promise for Paws volunteer, but here we have the co-founder, Kathy Gravy, again for Promise for Paws Senior Dog Sanctuary. And we have Blue here. So thank you, the three of you, for joining me today. I want to talk about Blue for a minute and talk about the organization in case he just needs to hit the ground, and take a walk. But Kathy, why don't you tell us a little about Promise for Paws?
Okay, well, Promise for Paws, we've been an organization since 2011, but about 5 years ago, we just decided that there were so many senior dogs that were homeless, and a lot of rescues weren't able to take them because they, don't get adopted easily. So we decided to focus solely on senior dogs, and that's what made us decide to open a dog sanctuary. We all had many senior dogs at home and too many senior dogs at home. So we decided we needed an actual building and a facility. So we worked really hard, did a lot of fundraising to make that happen. We opened a place in Missouri Valley, Iowa, which was wonderful for us, and that it was great for a while, but we simply outgrew Missouri Valley, and it was a little more difficult getting volunteers. So we bought this lovely building in Council Bluffs. We're right in the heart of Council Bluffs. We're able to accommodate so many more dogs now, but we focus solely on senior hospice type dogs.
Yes.
And the dogs come to our place, they come here to live here forever.
Yeah.
They don't come here and adopt.
Yeah, and so that's the thing, that the difference between a sanctuary and a rescue is a sanctuary, the animals are there for the rest of their lives. They're comfortable and taken care of, versus a rescue, you're bringing them in, you're helping them in whatever capacity to find forever homes. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Once in a while, we'll have a dog that'll come here and it's not a great fit for that dog. Maybe they're just too anxious. And I will reach out on occasion trying to find a home for a dog, but that's very, very rare. 95% of the time we can make it work here, and those dogs become our forever dogs.
So I know you had to put down Blue, Terry, but let's just talk about Blue. And what is his backstory and how long has he been there?
Blue has been with us for about a year, and actually he came to us from a gal that had worked with a rescue, and she had Blue as a foster, but he was just becoming a little more work than she was able to take care of. He actually came from a breeding facility originally, and that's why Blue is naked. He was bred for his color. He's kind of that silver blue color, which is very cool and popular, but those dogs, as they get older, lose their hair. So, he wasn't as handsome as he was when he, obviously was breeding dogs and so on and so forth. But he came to us because he was having a lot of potty accidents, and it was just becoming too much for that guy. And we can accommodate for that here. We do. That's how we live.
Well, I want to just say, I thought Blue was a very handsome dog. And I mean, he still is a handsome dog. So as with, all nonprofits, the COVID-19, the pandemic has, it's impacted. So let's just talk a little bit about that. Before you have an event coming up, I want to make sure we've got plenty of time for that. But let's talk about how COVID-19 has impacted Promise for Paws.
Well, we've definitely noticed a decline in donations, which we fully expected. People are trying to take care of themselves, and I know money is tight all over. A lot of nonprofits I know are having a really difficult time staying above water. We do have some really faithful people that, are really, really good to us, that have helped us keep this place afloat. It's a pretty expensive adventure. We're probably around $4,000 to $5,000 a month to keep the house going and the vetting and so on. So that little bit of donation that we lose, it does make a difference. Of course, we haven't been able to have any type of events. We've cut back. We normally do a car show and a couple of other things that we've, kind of backed away from. So it definitely has impacted our volunteer base. We had about 28 volunteers prior to COVID. And I did cut down to 10 when this all started, just to keep the house quieter and just to, keep a safer situation here. So it's impacted our volunteer base and caused the volunteers that I do have to work a little longer and harder as well.
Yeah.
But I think everybody's pulled together really well on that aspect. But
Yeah.
Definitely financially, we've seen a difference.
Yeah.
And we're hoping to catch up at some point, but we always make it work. There's a will, there's a way for us. So
yeah,
we keep plugging.
Yeah. Well, I just love what you do so much. So let's talk about what was your annual fall gala. You kind of pivoted and it's now called Rockin' for Rescue. So I know, Terry, you're going to tell us, Rockin' for Rescue, I like it, senior dog style. What does that mean? And tell us about that.
Well, like many things that have changed in 2020, we're going a whole different direction, trying to accommodate for social distancing and changing things up a little bit. And this year we're going to have our Rockin' for Rescue out at West Fair here in Council Bluffs. It's the fairgrounds, and it's located at 22984 Highway 6. Really easy to find, great outdoor location if you want to be outdoors. We're going to have an Italian buffet that we will have servers at, so it will be, okay as far as the COVID goes. No need to worry. We're going to have 2 bands. We're going to have Finding Dixie and also Bo Dell and the Relics. So that's going to be exciting. We're encouraging people to bring your lawn chair, maybe a blanket in case the weather's crisp on October 24th, and just sit outside and enjoy the music. And we're going to have some of our silent auction items as we normally do. And it's going to be a fun night.
Yeah. So where can people go? So where can people go to? Do they need to register? Is it free? Do they make donations? I mean, what's kind of the protocol for that?
Yeah, the cost is going to be $50 per person.
Okay.
And they will have a site set up on our website pretty soon to start.
Okay.
We're kind of holding off on that just because of the COVID guidelines. We want to make sure that, things aren't canceled before we get everything set up. So we're just kind of holding off on a place to register. And you can do it by mail. You're more than welcome to send it in here, do it online. Just so we kind of have an idea of how many people to expect would be great. We can accommodate up to 500. So I think everybody's going to be ready to get out and party by then.
Yeah, for sure. And so basically save the date for October,
Saturday, October 24th.
Okay, 24th. But then let's talk a little bit about, fingers crossed, everything will go as planned because it's in an outdoor setting and that's a little more manageable to, a better way to manage, social distancing. But regardless of the event going on, how can people help you? I mean, what can they do? Obviously financial funds really are so important to your organization. And then are there other ways that people can donate or contribute to Promise for Paws?
Yes, we're always in need of donations. We have so many sensitive bellies here that we feed a pretty strict diet of chicken and rice. So canned chicken breast is always a need. Paper towels, any kind of hand sanitizer, wipes, that kind of stuff, large and small trash bags. And of course, monetary donations for medical needs and incidentals that we have around the house that, it is a home. It's an actual home, not a shelter. The dogs are free to roam. And so we do have, there are issues with, pipes and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, but it's a big house.
Yeah. Do you need like blankets? Or towels? I know a lot of times when I just moved and I had 20 towels that I needed to donate to somebody. Is that something you're taking?
We do take donations of towels and blankets. We can't do comforters and big things just simply because our washing machine doesn't accommodate. Sure. But what we also do, if we accept towels and things and we have an abundance, then we reach out and we kind of work with other organizations that could possibly use them. I know a few different ones will post that, they're in need of things. And then if we have extra here, we try to do that. We just encourage people, if they need to get rid of them, to give them to us rather than, just throwing them out. I hate to see things be wasted. So we are networking and helping other rescues and giving things that we aren't able to use. We're kind of an in-between person too. So
Absolutely. Well, our time's about up. I want to just, so where can people go? Do you have pictures of the dogs on your website? Do you have?
Yes, we do. Yeah. And Facebook is wonderful. Facebook has a lot of very current,
Yeah.
a lot of the volunteers here will be shooting pictures, and there's a lot of current stuff on Facebook. Our website's there. It's not as up to date as it should be always, just
Sure.
because we're busy and we're so short staffed. But Facebook is a wonderful way to get on and see what we're doing.
Yeah, social media for sure, because you have people that just want to support the senior dogs, and then you have people that need a senior dog. They need a senior dog for placement. Yeah,
I get probably, I would say, 5 to 6 calls a month for people trying to rehome senior dogs, or perhaps shelters reaching out to me, you know, with a senior dog that's not getting adopted. So we work as hard as we can to get those dogs in. Sometimes I find them temporary foster and then bring them in when time allows, but we always have a wait list with a few dogs on it. You know, now we're at about 4 right now. So we do the best we can. I wish we were bigger and could accommodate 100 dogs. We try to keep our numbers under 35 if possible. Sure. So just to keep it, you know, comfortable for the dogs, and we're not stepping on each other. So
yeah. Well, Kathy and Terry, thank you so much. Again, Promise for Paws Senior Dog Sanctuary. I'm so grateful for what you're doing for these animals.
Thank you.
It's so important. So I just want to say thank you. And yep, we will update everybody about your event. Let's just, we'll keep in touch and, you know, give them, you know, let them know when tickets are available and what the deal is. But I'm thinking October 24th. We may be good.
We're going to keep our fingers crossed. We're hoping.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you so much, lady.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye. So thank you everyone for joining me today on metroTV. Learn more about what's going on in the Omaha community, like our Facebook page, Metro Magazine, all one word, or visit spiritofomaha.com. And we will see you back here next week.